on board. You gotta look at those. You can't just let them go and let them slide. Sometimes the insurance company will tell you, "Oh, well, talk to your paint your paint supplier. They should be able to help you." No, it's not them. It's the insurance company.
Yeah,
So
you don't have
Again,
just keep that in mind.
Inquire for it. It's a
Again,
good
here's
tool.
what you say back to them is if they say something like that, say,
Yeah, this-
"How did you guys call Akzo Nobel and ask them if you should insure this car? Or did you ask for my opinion?" I mean, again, I'm a smart ass, right? They're gonna have a hard time debating me on that because,
Yeah.
again, the insurance company made a business decision, just like you guys make business decisions all day long to be DRP, to not be our DRP, whatever it is. They made a business decision to insure that car, right? It was red when they insured it. They knew what the paint code was. They had the VIN. You made the decision. It's got nothing to do with you, the paint company, the distributor. That's how much the toner costs, which, by the way, is pigment that comes out of the ground. You know what I mean? That's how that stuff gets made. That's why you see price increases on paint all the time from all of the big people, is because the material that we use keeps going up. You see what I mean? And so, again, that's on them. They made that executive business decision to insure that car. Their agent made that decision, right? So,
Cost of raw
hard to
material.
debate. Just tell them it's a cost of doing business.
I charge them to 4 hours for the painting.
Yeah, you
4
should.
hours.
And there's no reason why you should. Yes,
How do
sir.
you feel about color tint?
How do I feel about it? We should charge for it. That's how I feel about it, right? Now, if they're making you color tint so you can try to stay on a panel that you never ever should stay on, then tell them to stick it. Because there is no paint manufacturer out there. We all say the same crap, right? We all get color to a blendable match. There is no panel painting that anybody's gonna guarantee that it comes out. Because hell, even this scenario we're talking about, again, the material that they use to make toners comes out of the ground, right? So it varies, from batch to batch. I mean, that blue, whatever that RR is, it's not the same from car to car to from line to line when they run it through the system. Every car is actually that way, right? Like if you just got a champagne Toyota Camry that runs down the line and 50 of them get painted and then that vat runs out of paint and they bring a new vat in, the next line, they're not gonna be the same color.
So
They're close.
Toyota code 4M9 is cashmere beige. How many variances are there for that one? There's probably 18 variances. Why? They make that car so much, that particular color, so many different batches are coming out, so there has to be different variations. So sometimes you have to look at that. You have to work with the painter and like he said, can they paint can you get extra time for blending? You sure can. Color tinting, like he said, sure. It's just speaking up and letting them know, in a diplomatic way.
They fight back on the color tint all the time.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
Well, we don't pay for color tinting or even then on black.
So, you just made me think of something, and this is something all of y'all should write down, because there is an actual place where you can go to help fight this, what you just said, which is we don't pay for that, okay? The thing is my guess is they have paid for it.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the country they've paid for it. So, have any of y'all heard of Auto Body Research or National Auto Body Research or the VRS, which is called the Variable Rate System? Yes, no, it's fine if you haven't. I know you have. You guys went to my meeting, so you should have, right? So two things. So National Auto Body Research is a parent company. The system that they have within National Auto Body Research is a system called the VRS, which is the Variable Rate System. So you can log on. Everybody in here should log on to this site when you get back to the shop and do the free labor rate survey, okay? It's a non-biased third-party company that is really starting to get some legs. Matter of fact, just to kind of bring this in, California just recently, for lack of a better word, anointed the VRS as the labor rate system they're going to use to determine labor rates in California. So no more are they going to look at State Farm survey or any other bunk bullshit survey that somebody puts out there where they hire a third-party company to give them a result that they want, right? This is a non-biased third-party company that's now going to be California's anointed survey system, and it's going to probably get legs and start rolling downhill, right? Crazy shit starts in California in our business, by the way, and then it comes this way. I think kind of a lot of businesses, California's that way. So my point is that the VRS, a couple things. If you can be a paying member for the VRS, it's $99 a month. That gives you complete access to the rating system and where you can go in there and actually manipulate the data to look at shops like yours. Like what I mean by that is size, stalls, equipment, and see what they're billing for, their labor rates and those kind of things, so you can use that as a comparison, right? It'll also, if you're a paying member, kind of where I was going with this whole thing, I can go in there and search for Geico and have they ever paid for tint. I can promise you they have, and there's going to be 25 examples of that other shop owners and estimators like yourself have uploaded to the VRS, and now they house that in one place for all of you people to access. So when they come back and say we don't pay for that, and then you go in there and you pull it down where they did, which by the way, it shows the claim number and everything. It just blocks out the customer's personal information. So then you pull that out and you say, well, you told me you never paid for tint, but here's 3 examples where you did. One in Louisiana, one right here in the great state of Texas, and one in New Mexico. Now, they have 2 choices right there. They can do the smart thing, which is pay you, right? Or they can still stand their ground and say, well, we just don't do that here. You can choose to take them to small claims court and they will lose, by the way. That's a no-brainer, right? As soon as precedent is set, they're done. So, and they know this, by the way. They hate, I mean, literally as soon as any of y'all bring up the fact that you know about the VRS and you use any of that to your advantage, they are going to be mad at you. They hate that website. You can find in there, anytime they tell you that we don't pay for this, they have. I can promise you somewhere in the country they have. Whether it's feather prime and block, whether it's tinting of paint, whatever example you can think of when they say we don't pay that ever, they have paid for it, and you can pull it down from that system. It is one of the greatest damn tools we have out there right now. For $99 a month, it is literally a no-brainer, truly. So there's that. You can do with it with what you want.
Yeah, let me give you an example. I had a glass shattered in a vehicle. They wanted a brand new Armada. They wanted to pay me $0.5 to clean it up. Do a supplement. They gave me an hour. So, no, I want 4 hours to clean all this glass up. It imploded everywhere. They refused. Came back. Supervisors came. They came back. I ended up with 4 hours. And that's something I'm going to send in to this VRS.
Yeah,
because they
paid
need this
Yeah.
information to help out the industry. So you can keep charging. You don't go that hour.
Yeah, and it's
There's
also
a lot of cleanup. Take out the seats. I got paid to take out the seats, clean the tracks, plus the 4 hours.
Yeah, and it's rates too, by the way. So when they come back and say, well, we don't pay whatever the going rate is here, right? If they come back, what's the body in Houston right now?
50?
46.
Oh.
So if they're coming to your store and saying, well, we only pay 42 and we don't pay anything more than 42, we've never paid anything more than 42 in Houston. I promise you that's not true. They have. They have, one of their adjusters is screwed up somewhere and they have let that paperwork go through and there's a precedent set. And the VRS has been live for like 3 years. It has got that information in it at this point. And quite honestly, the more shop owners and estimators and managers that start, you can, by the way, you don't have to be a paying member to give them information. So if you get an insurance company to either pay for a procedure or a rate or something like that, if you would be so kind as to send that up to the VRS, you're not only helping yourself, you're helping the rest of our industry. And quite honestly, if we would start looking at ourselves as more of a team and that we're all fighting the same fight and that we're not enemies, we would get a lot farther, right? There are a lot of cars out there to fix. There is no reason to look at your shop across the road from you as an enemy. You literally cannot fix all the wrecked cars in Houston. The shop down the road from you is not your enemy. The insurance.
And it's $99 a month, no contract. Kill it anytime.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's $99 a month. You can kill it at any given time. Again, and if you don't want to be a paying member, please go on there and take the survey and help yourself and help your market and help your city on the survey. Here's the only thing I can tell you about rates and surveys without getting myself into a colluding mess where I may end up in body shop jail or something. I'm not sure. Here's what I can tell you. Anytime you take a survey and it has to do with your labor rates or any kind of whatever it is you're charging, always be sure to fill out your survey with your retail rates. Do not ever fill out a survey and fill it out with your wholesale rates. A DRP is a wholesale agreement that you have made with a direct repair company for volume to give them a discount. That is literally the definition of a wholesale rate. That's what a direct repair program is. So when you take surveys, it's okay that you've made the business decision, to be on this DRP and you've agreed to this negotiated rate. But when you take the survey is your retail rate. Am I clear? Everybody got me on that? Because we can actually move some of this stuff in the city if everybody's involved, right? So that's what you need. That's how you need to look at it. And one more thing I'll tell you that a guy much smarter than me told me, who has a degree in economics, is when it comes to wholesale and retail, your retail rate should be somewhere between 10 and 15% higher than your wholesale rate, as a norm, right? I'm not telling you exactly what to charge, right? See how I did that? But what I am telling you is that's what economics tells you, right? That's not even just straight to the collision industry. That's pretty much in general what they say, right? Okay, so we're good. Anybody got any questions on that stuff? One more company that we probably should bring up is the DEG. Has anybody heard of the DEG? Database Enhancement Gateway. The website is the DEG.org. The DEG.org is also another company out there that's fighting the good fight for us. What they do is when your technician comes up to you and says, boss, I don't think there's enough time to replace this quarter panel on this Honda Civic, and you look at him and say, dude, that's what the book pays. Fix the freaking car and get it into paint. Don't always be so quick to do that. Your tech may be right. There's a lot of times within our databases that are just flat out wrong. The time studies were either fat fingered in there or they're just wrong, right? So what the DEG will do for you is if someone comes to you, one of your techs comes to you and says, boss, there's literally no way this quarter should pay 10 hours. I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and they go through that with you. I'm telling you, your tech's probably right, the time is probably wrong, and if you call the DEG, they will ask you for some information and they'll have you fill out a little deal like how many welds are there, blah, blah. It's really easy to do. And then the DEG will go fight to get the damn time changed. You don't have to do anything. And then they'll just respond back to you and let you know when they have it changed. And he has an unbelievable success rate of getting it changed. So if you run across that, that's another company out there that is doing a lot for our industry that we need to support.
A lot of management programs have that already.
Yeah, they do.
CCC.
Yeah. The problem is CCC doesn't fight. And that's the difference. The difference is this nonprofit organization at the DEG, you send them the stuff and they literally fight to get it changed with it, if they feel like we're right. You know what I mean? Which most of the time it's all right.
I had an estimate on the car for the same thing being done. CCC had like 18 hours. The other company, which was Autotex, had 30.
Wow. That's a huge difference. Wow. Well, and their software works differently, right? But still, that's crazy.
Because Autotex has a lot of R&I stuff
Already built in, right? Yeah, in CCC you'd have to go back. But kind of to his point, the only way you'd know is if you went back, right? We added all those things that CCC didn't have in there that Autotex has included, and still see if you get to the same number, right? Because you still may not be at the same number, you know. So there's a lot of I don't know. I just want to make sure y'all know that because I spent a lot of time telling my techs just to fix the freaking car and move on, you know. And I look back at it and I was probably wrong, like most of the time, you know, because I just assumed that the damn database was right and they were just whiny little technicians, but that wasn't the case probably. So just so you know, that's out there. Another company that fights for us. This is such an antiquated slide. What we should say about innovative safety systems is we can't even keep up with them. I'd have to change this slide on a daily basis, right? So we've got, what we don't have on here is lane departure sensors that are on cars now, right? Volvo has a sensor that looks at your pupil to tell whether or not you're sleeping and can actually shut your car down if it thinks you're getting tired. Did you know that? pull you off the side of the road, shut you down. Yep, isn't that crazy? We have adaptive cruise now. My mom just got a 2018 RAV4, and this thing is base model, man. I mean, it's a manual C whole bit, right? The car won't let you change lanes without putting the blinker on. It'll literally pull you back over into the lane. If I put on the cruise control, it will keep me paced at a certain pace behind the car in front of me, and it will slow me down and speed me up, and slow me down and speed me up to keep me at that certain distance from the car in front of me. It has adaptive braking, so if it senses that they're about to have an accident, it hits the brakes. My point of this babble is this is like a $20,000 RAV4, right? And that are all over the place. And so every car is going to have all of this stuff. Ford's had it for a while, yeah. And they're more, I see commercials all the time where, I think it might be Nissan, Phil, that said by 2022, every single car will have this whole laundry list of ADAS systems, right? So the thing is that stuff is here and it's coming at such a crazy rapid pace that the best advice I can give you is you've got to find a way to keep up with all of it, right? Whether it's buying the tooling or you can scan